All right, I think we're live. Thanks so much for coming back. We are here. Here's kind of where we were left off last time in the last live stream, trying to deconstruct Bootstrap and figure out the advanced pieces of Sass CSS to be able to just improve our CSS, make things more automated, clean things up. And Bootstrap does a great job of using those advanced features. So I'm the whole purpose of this is to kind of figure out what are they using, and can I use it in my own stuff, our own stuff. And so we've added this little breakpoint thing with grid instead of flexbox, which is usually flex is what's used in Bootstrap as far as I can tell. So our own little grid switching with the responsive size. So let's go back and let's clean up some stuff. I'm actually gonna try. I've grabbed all of these from breakpoints down to here, where I've been using these to create those breakpoints, right? In the last one, let me see if I can show you where that is. Yeah, so right up here, we were using this because up above in my CSS here, I have imported a lot of files from the Bootstrap Sass files. And so right now we are leaning on Bootstrap itself. So I went in and I looked for everything that was just dependent on this function, as well as the media breakpoint up, because that's how you can get those cool grid breakpoints and not have to constantly be using classes like with the small, medium, large, XL, that kind of a thing. You can just define it right here in this with this include, and then just say which is the breakpoint that you want to target. And so I want to get rid of our reliance on Bootstrap for all of this. So I'm actually going to go up here. We're going to delete all of this, except for those couple of breakpoint functions. And let's see. I probably should have shown you. Okay, so this is the compiled styles. Let me just undo this just so you can see. Save. Okay, so this is what our style sheet used to be. This is what was being imported just from those couple, like I wasn't even importing all of Bootstrap, and it keeps going. Like this is massive. So I'm just wondering if we can start pretty fresh and clean and just kind of get rid of a lot of this stuff. So I'll just do that again so you can see now the compiled style sheet is a lot smaller. And obviously that's not going to cut it for your website, but because you need a lot of stuff to make it look nice. But maybe we don't need to have all of Bootstrap's default stuff kind of weighing us down. Like we can just leverage what they give to us, the tools that they give to us instead. And that's what I've done here is pop out this map here. This it's a variable, but it has a bunch of key value pairs. And that's where you can see that's, they're small. That's the marker for the small breakpoint, 576 pixels, 768, 992, etc. So yeah, now let's just double check that our site is still working though. Let's refresh. Oh nope, it's not. Let's see, do we need this undefined mixin? Maybe we don't actually need that. Breakpoint down. Yeah, it's right there. Oh, it's probably because this stuff probably needs to go at the top. So make sure we credit Bootstrap. And I'm going to put this at the top and see if that fixes it, because I think what it's doing is we've called it down here. And it didn't know. Oh, you can't see my screen. You can't see where it's we've included it. Previously all of that stuff code was down here, so I've copied that and put it up at the top. Now let's refresh. Okay, so now it's at least compiling, and the breakpoint is working. So now this is totally free of Bootstrap other than those functions that they've written just for breakpoints. And so what does that mean? Again, we have a very, very light style sheet. That's not very much, and it's already doing some cool responsive like stacking and ordering, and we've got a grid layout. So, all right. The cool thing about this is I've been looking at these functions because, first of all, I didn't know what exactly was dependent on them, but it does look like you only need about 5 things if you want to import just the breakpoint feature from Bootstrap into your site, which is your grid breakpoints. This is your map. I'm just going to call it a map because the functions that they use will say like map-get. So it's grabbing, based off of the name that you pass it, kind of like this. If you pass it small, it's going to go look at breakpoints, and it's using this function to grab, hey, where's the small? It's 576, so that's what I'm going to spit back out as the min. And then I'm going to return all of this stuff, which I still am not totally sure what all of it means, but I mean they've broken it down up here in the comments just fine. But the cool part is that, so again, we just have this map, we have this function to get the I believe it's the smallest first breakpoint, and then the max breakpoint. So you need those 2 functions which are reliant, which these ones are reliant on. So usually as I'm doing my code at work, I'm grabbing these mixins for just media breakpoint up because I'm doing mobile first. And so I usually just include this all the time to just add those breakpoints and change something about the styles. And lo and behold, underneath that, it's reliant on this breakpoint min and breakpoint max if you're using not mobile first methodology, or at least an include for something if you just want to target like mobile phones, so the screen size down, and that's it. I mean, that's not a lot of code, and it's already doing some pretty advanced stuff. Really, really helpful too, because just knowing that I can throw in this breakpoint at any time makes things so much nicer when you're trying to debug something or make some kind of component that's a little crazy from the designers. Love you guys. I'm just kidding. So what I wanted to do here, let's go back down. Sorry, this is a little bit unorganized today, but that's okay. So we've removed all of our Bootstrap imports, cleaned up our files so that we can kind of start a little bit more fresh. And now what I wanted to do was, right now, let's go back here. Right now we're only doing 2 things, right? We're going from a 3-column to a 1-column. But what if, right around here, it's just a little too tight? You know what I'm saying? Like, it works fine, but the text, we're only fitting about 3 words per line. If you look at at this, it's like 3 words per line. Not a great reading experience. So let's make it go from 3 for the largest screens, and then right around the medium breakpoint, let's go down to 2 columns, and then of course one column for a mobile experience. So let's just do that just to kind of warm up. And we're going to go back up here. This is where we've got our 3-column grid, and this is probably the worst possible name, especially since we'll be basically funneling it, right? We're turning this into a funnel where it goes from 3 to 2 to 1. So not a great name, but we're not going to worry about that just now, just because if we're acting like we're doing mobile first in here by using these, actually we're not. So anyway, guess we're not doing mobile first on this, but if we're doing this kind of the right way, or at least the way that the industry is kind of has pushed, it's ideal to start with the mobile and then expand to the desktop experience. I actually, personally, I just do them both at the same time, or I even start with desktop, but I make sure that I never forget about mobile, I guess, because it's really hard to work. I've found it to be hard to work from starting at the mobile size and then adding in so many things on desktop. I'd rather put all the complexity out first and then refine things. Regardless, we're gonna go with let's just change this up. We'll change this to a better name anyway, because we want to make things make a little more sense. Let's just call this like our card grid, because this is for our cards and it's using grid, and then it's not dependent on like, oh, 3 column. Like, to me, that, I guess that means that it's always 3 columns kind of a thing. This is a little bit more generalized, so it's not so confusing. It's like, why is it a 2 column grid now when it's called the 3 column grid? So we're gonna change this around. So we've got, if we're gonna do mobile first, we're actually gonna pop this out and say the base style here is now gonna be 1 column. And we're going to change that. We've changed this to grid point or breakpoint up, which means that when it hits small, then it's going to do all of this stuff. But if it's extra small to small, for, what was it, 576 to 0, then it's going to use this. So if I were to change this to, let's change it to 2, because we wanted this small to medium. Well, probably, yeah. Well, let's try this. Small to medium would be this 2 column grid, and then I will grab this. Let's go, yeah, about a medium, I think. We might have to change that to large. We'll see. So yeah, at large, then it can be our 3 column grid. And let's just make sure this is working now. So I'm gonna refresh, and hey, something's already working. We're at 780. Let's see. Yeah, I think that was too much here. Oh, run out of screen space here. But yeah, let's see what we've done. So we've got our mobile first. You know, this is our mobile baseline. Then we moved to 2, and then we can't quite get to large on my screen that I'm with the broadcast that I'm using. So I'm going to change this just to medium so that we can see it. So maybe that still is a little bit too small for something like this, but you can obviously change that as needed. So refresh. And at 768, we should see this switch over, hopefully. Yep. And now we're at 3 columns. As soon as we get down below 768, we switch to 2 columns and then 1 column. That is pretty sweet. So again, that's more of just like one of those cleanup things where it's really nice to be able to have your breakpoints. They're dynamic. So the cool part about this too is we're separating the values, and this makes things so much more repeatable and less maintenance, because let's say we need to change, you know, what if the designers come back and they're like, you know what, everybody on our site is actually using like a super huge phone, I don't know, and it needs to be like 676, whatever it is. We can change that once here in this map, and because we have changed we've referenced that in a single place, it goes to all of the places. So again, we'll refresh, and if we get to, yeah, see, now we're at 662. We're still at that 1 column because we've changed the breakpoint screen width, which is, it's super nice to be able to find these instances where we can separate the value and just have that in like a single source of truth, and then take all of your includes or your mixins and have them grab that single source of truth and pepper it in wherever you're working. Makes it so much nicer. and this is going to be even better, I think, in this next example that I've got for us. So we've done this. Now the next thing I want to do, I have added just a little circle class in this empty div inside of our card, so you can't even tell that it's there right now, but it is up in each one of these cards. So what I want to do is, let's pretend like these cards have like a logo or an avatar, like a profile picture or something, and so we want it to be kind of a placeholder, and maybe some of our users don't have a picture that they want to put out there, so we don't want it to just be like a weird white bubble or something that's just kind of sitting there. So we'll put in some colors, and we don't want it to be all the same either, so we want it to be able to rotate through like red, green, blue, something like that. So what I'm gonna do is, let's just do, actually it's in a card, so I'm just gonna put it as a nested class in here. And if we get the circle, then let's just hurry and actually make this, yeah, let's set a width and a height so that it can be perfectly a perfect circle. Height is 50 pixels. And then we'll set a background color on it right now just to see if it's working. And go over here. Okay, cool. So now we've got our square. Not quite a circle just yet, because we need a border radius. I'm just going to set it at 50 pixels as well, just to make sure it's big enough. And there we go. So now we've got our circles. Maybe these are supposed to have pictures in them, right? So but for now, let's just worry about what the color looks like. So instead of hard coding this background color, like I was just talking about with the breakpoints, let's make our own map of colors and see if we can get this to like rotate through colors, so that, you know, on the off chance that maybe 3 of them happen to be missing a picture in a row, those are not going to be the same color. It just makes it kind of more interesting to look at, I guess. And let's just grab this as like our template. And I'm gonna put it above here just so that it knows where to pull them. So I'm gonna change the name to, let's do card profile colors, something like that. And we'll put in some names here. Let's do. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if we want to do like should it be the actual color name, or should it be like first, second, third kind of a thing. I'm not sure what actually would be the best in this situation. So let's just do a couple of these: green, yellow, orange, and what am I missing? Red, green, blue, orange, yellow, and purple. Thank you. Okay. So, whoops, there we go. We'll I guess we can just put them all the same, so I can actually just grab all of these for right now, and then we can make them better colors later. Yeah, I think that should be fine. I'm not really sure. So the other cool thing was, as I was looking at the Bootstrap breakpoints, I noticed that they're using at each in right here. Let me just show you where it is. Oh, you know what? I think I actually saw this in one of their docs sites. So let's move over to the Bootstrap 5 documentation. And yeah, right here, this is where it was. Okay, so we have this. This is an example of one of the custom things you can do. But I kind of want to model this for our own color switcher. So I'm gonna grab this first line because I think that's all we really need. And let's go back here. Let's set up our function. So instead of calling it a breakpoint, it's gonna be a color. And so for each color in map keys of this, we're gonna grab this, swap that in. And then can we just return? Let me just double check on this documentation what they do here. I wonder if we can just yeah, I'm not actually sure how this pops it out. Let's see. We might have to do one of these things here. Let's try it. Go back here. So I think what this does is I think that tells Sass to like put whatever value is in here. So let's change that to color and actually write it out in the CSS, but I'm not 100% sure. So let's just try this. Background color equals that. You know what, let's save it and see what it does to the styles, because I'm not totally okay. So that broke something. Let's see if we need to get rid of this. Nope, still not happy with me. Let's just try this maybe. Ooh, okay, so I'm still getting a similar error here. What is it? For each color in map keys of this, oh, you know what? Let's see. Because I think this is actually creating, it would be a way to create classes for me, like a rotating classes, rather than, because it's not going to swap them out for me automatically. Like I can't make this function magically make, 5 things on my CSS switch colors. Okay, so let's see if we can have it make a class for us instead. So I don't think this is correct, because what I'm thinking is if we can just have it create a class that has the color, then we can add that class to our circle div. I think that's how you're supposed to do it, but I'm not totally sure. So let's just try it. I'm just going to define the class then. Let's just say it is the color, and then we're gonna, yeah, I think that's right. And then we can just say, hey, background color is that same color. Save. Let's see if we have any styles. Okay, so it did compile, and oh, actually we can see that it created a class for us for each of these colors. Okay, so I was a little bit, I was a little bit off on what I thought or what I expected that this could do, but then I realized, it doesn't make any sense because it doesn't know what's on my page. So it doesn't know that I have 5 elements on my page. It only knows, what's in here, and it's up to me then to come up with the logic of like rotate through all of these for like every time it's different. Let's see. I'm trying to think of how it is. Anyway, so yeah, this is actually probably a better example would to not be this, but maybe like a gradated something that kind of builds on itself or takes away from itself. So like if we start with a highly saturated one color and then make it decrease in saturation or something like that. That might be more interesting, a more interesting use of this. But it would be a time saver if you know that, like, you need a class and maybe it has like a pattern name. So maybe it's actually not, you probably shouldn't say the actual color in there, but like it could be like color step, and then yeah, how would you actually, let's see. Okay, so actually let's just jump over here really fast just to see what they did. It says Infix, which is kind of, I guess that actually just means, so like they're what they're doing is saying drop down menu. I think that's supposed to mean your breakpoint, like SM, MD, LG. I could be wrong. Let's see. Yeah, I'm still not totally sure what infix means, but I think it just is like a prefix is this, where it's before, and then you tack it on after, be, I guess, a postfix in this, or a suffix is what it would be, but, and then infix would be it's inserted inside of there. So I don't know. That wording is a little bit strange for me. Maybe you already know how this works, and that's all right. Yeah, so I think, okay. So basically what they're doing here is they're saying drop down menu, and then whatever their infix is, that maybe it's BS or maybe it's SM or BD or whatever it is, MD, and then start, because they want it to be yeah, I'm struggling to figure out like what's the best use case for this then, but at least for now we have a bunch of styles that could be used on basically everything, really, because I don't think, let's try throwing on, like, because we know let's see, I'm going to change it back to color. So we have a bunch of classes that are named this, and let's do red here, save that, and see if we can get one of these cards to disappear. Nope. It didn't work. So is that because I think because I put it nested. So let's try this one then. Blue. And it's still not working. Okay, so what did I do here? Oh, well, I guess maybe this is actually taken over. Let's try. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, so I was overriding myself with that background color. So now that's working. And I did nest it as well, so that's why it wasn't working when so since this is nested as, oh wait, that actually should have worked either. It's probably because we've got a background color on the card. Do I have a card mix in? Yeah, you can see this is kind of crazy. So yeah, I think if we get rid of our background color on our cards, there we go. Okay, so that's what, okay, there we go. Got to make sure you're not overriding yourself. But yeah, so now at least we've created a class based off of our map of colors. And the other cool thing with that is, these are awful colors just straight out of the box. Like, you should never basically be using red like this. So maybe it is, something a little more subtle, something that works a little bit better with each other. Red and blue probably aren't going to play nice anyway, but if I save that, maybe it'll look a little better. Nope. Did that actually save? Oh, you know what? I might be grabbing the wrong... Oh, I wonder if I'm grabbing the wrong thing here. So let's try... map keys. Map keys. Oh, I might want... I don't know. Can I change it to values? Boy, I am not sure about this one. Yep, I broke it. I wonder if, because I've been using the same thing for the key and then the value, so I think what I've done here is broken it. Let's see. You know what? Let's just grab the Sass documentation. So we know we have map keys. Do we have like a values? Remove set. Oh, hey, map values. Okay, so that was working. I guess it was just my code that was kind of broken here. So let's do... Yeah, let's go back to values so we can pull out the value instead of the name, because this should be the name. Yeah. So then basically these become kind of pointless because it's only going to return the actual values inside of this map. So we shall see. Color, now we're going to want to change this. Ooh, okay, so that's where it gets kind of tough. It's like, how do you name your class? So maybe what I could do... Okay. This might have to wait for another live stream because I'm not totally sure how to do this without a reference. Man, okay, well, so it doesn't like RGB, unexpected, expected selector. That's kind of strange, actually. Actually, I wonder what... Okay, so that's probably because I don't know, can I... Ah, dang it. I think it is the name. I think the name is what's messing this up. So if I just call this red, then we're just going to get red with like a bunch of... Okay, so that is what was messing me up, at least for this. So I need to figure out a way to loop over our map and have this be a generic name, kind of like our color step that I was talking about. Like maybe it's all monochrome and we just want to get like the top, the highest saturated blue, the middle, and the lowest or something, so that it kind of gradates. But I don't know how to get a dynamic name in here, just because if we are using this, that is not an appropriate name to be put in as the class. So what it was doing before was basically doing this, and it's like, what the heck is that? That is not a selector for CSS. It needs to be a word without spaces and parentheses and special characters. So boy, we've got some work to do. We're gonna leave this on a cliffhanger, and I will see if I can figure this one out and come back next time with something a little bit more concrete for how to use this each function in a way that actually makes things easier for us. Maybe we can solve that rotating circle idea where, you know, come on, there we go. Let me turn back on that, the background color just so you can see it. Red. So yeah, I want to see if we can figure out a way to make it so that each one of these circles is a different color, different than the one previous. So maybe we have 6 colors and it rotates through those 6 colors every time, but you know, when we only have 5 elements, then you won't even see one of the colors. But if you had like 12, you would see 2 sets of this color going through, red, green, purple, blue, whatever, and then starting over again with red. Boy, okay, there's a lot to unpack here, a lot to learn, and thanks so much for sticking with me through kind of a more rough live stream. But again, this is live coding, so this is kind of what happens when you're just playing around and trying to figure something out. So thanks for going on this journey with me, and I hope that something from this you can take into your work and make it more effective this next year. Happy New Year, and I will see you around on the next one. Thank you.